Hello all, welcome to our training on Edulastic. This is another assessment tool that we can use. Edulastic is an online assessment tool that gives educators a way to create tech-enhanced assessment items. All you have to do is go to edulastic.com. It's free to join. You can click join for free if you need to sign up. So if you need to sign up, go ahead and click join for free. I'll give you a moment and you can sign in with your Google. You can sign in as a teacher, admin, or as a student. All right. Yeah, I'll give you guys a minute to join in as a teacher. As you're in the process of joining in to Edulastic, on this home page, they have a couple of cool features. You can click on see how it works, and it'll give you a couple of introductory videos on how Edulastic works. And you can also request a demo. As you guys are finishing up, Edulastic is a great tool to use whether you're teaching in school or it's distant learning or e-learning. It doesn't matter. Edulastic is a great tool to house your assessment items, and you have an array of tech-enhanced assessment items that you can choose from and create. Or you can grab these assessment items from a database. All right, so once you've joined with Google or however you signed up as a teacher, admin, or student, you want to click log in. It's going to automatically log me in because I log in all the time through Edulastic. I log in through my Google. It will always bring you to your dashboard. When your dashboard pulls up, you will always see the classes that you have already created. This is your dashboard. I'm going to go over our dashboard links. So this right here, this little gauge, this takes us to our dashboard. This little plus on the clipboard takes us to our assignments. If you have any assignments that have been created, any tests students have taken, as you see, I have some. These little bars, it's an insight, but this is only if you have a premium package. You can get an assessment summary, subgroup performance, question analysis, response frequency, performance by standards. It goes on and on and on, but you would have to upgrade to get these features. Performance over time, student progress, student profile reports, standards mastery report. That's what the upgrade report. Even without the upgrade report, you still can see a great deal of data, and I will show you that a little bit later. Your next icon or your next tool is the item or the question bank. This is the bank where you would get your questions for whatever standard you are working on. You can get those questions that are any questions that you created yourself from an entire library, any questions that were shared with you. If you saw a question and you favorited it, maybe you're not getting to that lesson or that standard until 3 months from now, and you can click the heart and favorite. You can create folders. That's all in the items bank or the questions bank. And you can also search by different grade levels. Your next icon with the little dot is your test. So any test that you have created or any test that's in the entire library, you have a few options. You can search the entire library. You can search for pre-made tests. Let's say you were testing on the coordinate plane and you want to see what there is to offer. You can click in the search bar. You can search by skills, keywords, test names. It doesn't matter. And Edulastic will pull from its database any tests or assessment items that teachers have put as public. So let's say I want to search for coordinate plane. Click enter. And it brings up a slew of coordinate plane assessments that teachers have created. And you can also see the number of views, how many people have actually liked it. But it goes on and on and on. You can sort by popularity, relevance, recency, name, likes. It doesn't matter. You can sort by anything. And lastly, this little desk is your manager class. So any classes that you have synced to your Edulastic or you created, this is where they would all be housed. Active classes, archive classes, doesn't matter. This is where all your classes would be. The first thing we're going to start off with, I want to show you, we're going to start with the end in mind. I'm going to show you the end result, what you should be able to do at the conclusion of this assignment. Before I move any further, make sure you're logged in. Make sure you're comfortable with these tools. If you want to, you can click through our sidebar tools for dashboard, assignments, insight, assessment items, testing bank. You may not have anything in the testing bank for your authored by me because you haven't created anything. But you can click on entire library, and I want you to search a standard that you're currently or you will be teaching, and find one already created assessment that you can look through. I'll give you guys about a minute or two. Yes, ma'am, just log in. You can log in with Google. You can see on that sidebar, you have all your icons for the dashboard and the assignment and the insights, question items, tests, manage class. Nice. Look at that, Ms. Tibbetts. You have an assessment item that's already created for you. Look through, look at the type of questions. You can always duplicate an assessment that's already created, and you can tailor it to fit your class. You can duplicate, then you can add or delete questions. You can create your own questions, but we'll get into how you can create questions in a little while. Yes, ma'am. Awesome. So everyone was able to at least search one skill or one standard or one test topic that you're currently working on or you will be working on? Good. Good. All right, so I'm going to start off by showing you guys a test that I've created. I want to show you the end result. So I will select authored by me. Any test that you create will always be under the authored by me tab under the testing icon. I'm going to show you guys the test I created on the coordinate plane. Anytime you have a test, once you click save, you have the option to assign, preview. If I click more, I can get details. It breaks it down by standard. These are how many questions are on this standard and so forth. And you can change the point value for each question. Let's preview this test. And when I click preview, this is the same exact way students will see this test once I assign it. Okay? And students have a number of two different ways to move forward or go backwards to a question. They can click their drop-down arrow, which they can skip to question 14, skip to question 1. They can bookmark a question, or they can just click their arrow. So here's one of my first questions. Students had to find the distance between these 2 points, and they simply, for this question, they had to type in their answer choice. Multiple choice. Also, so this question had 2 parts. With Edulastic, you can make multi-part sections. And this section had a drop-down arrow where students had to select the first order pair, the X coordinate and the Y coordinate. Part B, students had to find the distance. Again, drop-down arrow. Everything is easy to create. Just want to show you guys an example. True, false statements. Students can put true, false in whichever box they think is correct based on the question being asked. There's also drag and drop. Students have to drag and drop their responses in. This question asks students to identify the location of different stations and find the distance between an ice cream parlor and the library. And students would, if the students thought it was 7 units, they would drag and drop the 7, or they could drag and drop the 8 and so forth. Edulastic allows for many different type of assessment item types. Multiple choice, check boxes, consider the following coordinate points and select the correct answer from the answer column. -5, 3, students had to choose which quadrant it was in. Another tech enhanced question. Not saying those are the correct answers, guys. Again, multiple choice. And with Edulastic, if you're doing the coordinate plane, students can also plot points and it grades it for them. So point A is on -6, 0. Students would click on the point that they want to plot, point A. They would find their spot. So they want -6, 0. They would just double tap and it points and it plots it for them. It puts it where they point. Point B would be -8, 4. I click on point B, -8, +4. Double click. Point C, -8, -4, -8, -4. Now I'm going to exit out. That's a quick glimpse of an assessment I created for my students. Also, with details, I can always look through the questions that I have already chosen to pick to put on this certain assessment. I can preview questions, I can delete questions, I can rearrange questions. At the very end, it tells you how many total items or questions you have, your total point value. It breaks down all of your standards that you chose. You can put them into certain collections by grade level, by subject, and you can also change your assessment question or your assessment homepage picture. If I click on settings, once I've created an assessment, I can choose the assessment type. I can choose to release scores or responses. I can choose to release scores, student response, and correct answers. I can give all or nothing credit, partial credit, and so forth. The advanced options are through the upgrade, where you can shuffle questions and hide answers and rubric grading and show a calculator. And it will even give you a standard-based grading scale if you upgrade. One thing I always do after I create an assessment, I always share. I always share usually by district. So anyone in my school district, if they're searching for coordinate plane tests, my assessment would pop up and they would choose to use it, or they can choose to duplicate it and tailor it to how they want it to be. And you can also share through a link. Maybe you're group teaching and you have another 6th grade math teacher, 7th grade math teacher, and you guys are working on the same thing and you guys created this assessment item together. You can easily share it to each other and you have the same exact assessment in your own login. First, I want you guys to go down to this little desk, our managed class desk. With Edulastic, it syncs with Google Classroom. If you're using Google Classroom, you can simply click Sync with Google Classroom. It'll bring up a little Dropbox option. Since there we go. And it'll ask you, it'll see all of the Google Classrooms that you are a part of. It'll tell you which one do you want to sync to Edulastic, which one do you not want to sync. You can see that I've already synced all of my academic classes, and these are some other Google Classroom classes that I'm a part of that I don't want to sync to my Edulastic. So you have that option. Once you have that, you click sync, and it's pretty easy. I'm going to give you guys a minute. I want you, if you do use Google Classroom, which I think everyone does, I want you to click sync with Google Classroom so you can insert all of your academic classes that you have thus far. I'll give you guys a minute. Just click sync with Google Classroom. The Google Classroom box will appear and it'll ask you to check which classes that you want to sync into Edulastic. Jolene, yes, ma'am. Just click it and click the classes click only the Google Classroom classes that you want to be synced into Edulastic. So your Google Classroom class for staff development, you don't want that synced to Edulastic because you're not testing those people. So only your academic classes. So your first period, second period, fourth period, whatever. Any issues? Check. Nice, nice. I told you it was that easy. It seems like nowadays everything is syncing to Google Classroom. And when you sync to Google Classroom later on, once you create an assessment, you can click assign and you can click your Google Classroom and you can click send notification and it sends the notification directly to Google Classroom. All the students have to do is click on the notification and it brings them directly to the assessment that you created. You can also set parameters like a start date, an end date. Whenever the assessment is done and you close the assessment, you can publish the scores of Google Classroom, or you cannot publish it to Google Classroom if you choose not to. Good, good. All right, so once we have that now, let's look at creating an assessment. Over here on the clipboard with the plus, you want to click plus with the assignments. Now notice these are some assignments that I already have. You want to click new assignment. New assignment. Now you have options. You can choose from the library. Remember earlier, that'll take you back to where you can browse and search any items that you may see in the entire library. So you can search the whole database by skills or standard or whatnot. If you have any assessments that you created, but you guys may not have that already, if someone has shared an assessment with you, that would be in that section. If you're a co-author, so there is way for collaboration with Edulastic, or if you favor any assessment items or assessment tests, and also if you created any folders. All right, so let me take us back. So the clipboard with the plus, we clicked new assessment. I showed you guys how you can choose from the library. If you want to author your own test, you can click author a test. You can create a test from scratch, or this thing called Snap Quiz, you can create an assessment from a PDF. All you have to do is upload your assessment in PDF format and proceed to create an Edulastic assessment. Let's create from scratch. You have to give your test a name. All right, so pick a unit that you'll be testing on soon or later on, something you want to investigate right now. I'm going to use solving multi-step word problems. Positive. Solving multi-step word problems. In the description, I can put solving with positive and negative rational numbers. You always have a test name. You can give a little description. You can click the grade. What grade is that? You can choose more than one grade. If it's 7th grade and it's maybe a standard from 6th grade, maybe a standard from 8th grade, doesn't matter. You choose what grade this assessment is associated with. If you teach honors, a 7th grade honors, they may be 7th and 8th grade. If you teach a 6th grade honors, might be some 6th grade assessment items and some 7th grade assessment items. Subject, math, ELA, science, social studies, computer science, it doesn't matter. In any tags you see that would fit what you're doing. And if you want to, you can also change the picture. This is the picture students will see when they're about to take your assignment. And notice you'll see here this little share button, 0 shares, 0 likes because you just created. Now, once you've gotten the title page basically of your assessment, you click on Add Items. Pretty straightforward. Whenever you want to add items to an assessment, your search for items, you can start by grade level, grades. Let's say I want to start with 7th grade. I chose my subject as math. You can choose your standard set. I want to use the Math Common Core, or whichever you choose. And then you can choose your standard. This way, it'll give you all the assessment items for that certain standard. So I think we're on 7EE. There we go. And if you want to break it down by question type, maybe you only want multiple choice, or if you want drag and drop, text down, label image drop down, text entry, doesn't matter. If you want to break it down by that, you can, or you can just search all types. You can even search by depth of knowledge, recall, skill and concept, strategic thinking, and so forth. Difficulty level, easy, medium, hard. Edulastic gives you many different ways you can search for assessment items, okay? And I will say, before I choose an assessment item, let's look at this first assessment item. It tells me the standard it's associated with. It tells me the DOK level. It tells me how many people have chosen to use that assessment item and how many people have chosen to save that. Okay, and it also tells me the assessment item type. This is a resequence, expression multi-part. We have multiple choice, match the following, multi-part, multiple choice. So before you click an assessment item to view, you can see what you're looking at. All right, so I chose 7th grade mathematics Common Core. This is the standard I want. I can also sort by popularity. Popularity, recency, the author, how many likes, it does not matter. All right, so I want you guys to choose the grade level that is associated with what you want this assessment item to be on. Your subject, Math Common Core is what I usually use, and choose your standard. And if you want to choose by question type or by depth of knowledge or difficulty, do that. I'll give you a minute to set that up, and then I'll go into the questions. But Edulastic is a great tool. My students love it. It's user-friendly. You can create any type of assessment item that you want, and you can create it your way. You can find an assessment item that someone has already created, or you can make your own, or you can duplicate someone's question and manipulate it so it fits what you want it to be. Okay, we all have that. Now, as you're scrolling through and you're looking at all the assessment items, there's different pages. If you ever want to view one, you can just click on the assessment item, and it'll bring you to the view page. It gives you the question, different answer choices. It breaks it down for the standards. It gives you the depth of knowledge, the difficulty level. It tells you who created it, how many points the person who created set the point value. You can check the answer. You can show answer, and so forth. You can clone a question or duplicate. The only way to tailor this to the way you want it to be, let's say you don't like the wording, you can clone and it'll duplicate the question for you, and then it'll make you the author, and you can edit it however you want to edit the question. Okay? And that's how you search for any type of assessment items or assessment questions you want. Remember, you have different options on the side. Question type. Let's say I only want multiple choice. Only multiple choice will show up. If I say, oh, I really like this question, I can click add to test, and it saves it to my bank. Item added to test. I want you guys to go through and pick at least, I'll say 3 assessment items that you see that you think would fit for your standard. And I'm just going to go through just like you guys and look at some questions. Say I wanted to clone this one. Notice when I click clone, let me get you guys' attention for 1 second. Notice I click clone, so I duplicated the question. Now this is my question. Let's say I only want 3 answer choices. Let's say I only want 3 answer choices. I can delete one. Now I have 3 answer choices. Make sure your correct answer choice is selected. What if I wanted this question to be worth 2 points? I can type in 2 points. You can give an explanation. So if the student gets it wrong, you can say, make sure you check order of operations, or some kind of feedback in case the student gets it wrong, or something that the student can remember. You can add hints. If a student is stuck on a question, let's say the test is on order of operations, you can add a hint that says PEMDAS. Doesn't matter. Once you have that, click. You can also click preview mode. You can preview what the question looks like. You can click on metadata, where you can change the depth of knowledge, the difficulty level, Bloom taxonomy, add tags. You can add different standards if it's not coded right. Once you're done, you click save, and that question is saved in your bank. So this is the first question I clicked on, and this is the one that I edited. If you ever want to go back to add more items, just click on your tab that says add more items. I'll give you guys one more minute to find at least one more assessment item. Yep, it gives you the description. So if it's a multi-part, or if it's a plotting, if it's a drag and drop, if it's a short answer, if it's a fill in the blank, it tells you what type of question it is. Yep. And there's different options, different ways you can sort your questions by. Exactly. Good job. All right, guys, let's say you have all the items you have. Right now we don't. Let's say you have all the items you have. Click on review. You can review those items. You can view as a student. If you click view as a student, this is exactly what your student's going to see. Students also have the option for a magnifying glass, a scratch pad. They can bookmark questions or flag questions, and so forth. Now, let's say you think, I really want to add some other type of question. Let's say you wanted to make a multi-part question. You can author your own questions. Click. You go back to add items. You can click on create new item. And here's your choices: multiple choice, fill in the blanks, classify, match order, your ELA writing, passage, highlight. I know math people. You have expressions and formulas. Students can enter numeric entry, complete an equation, matrices, math essays, equations and inequalities. We have graphing, number line, range plotter, multi-part question, charts. It goes on and on. Let's say you wanted to do a numeric entry type of question, and you get here, you're like, oh, what do I do? Simple. Click on how to author, and it walks you through the steps of how to author a numeric entry problem. It walks you through, it tells you exactly what you need to type in. It tells you what goes where and so forth. If you're still confused or you want a little help, down here, this little bubble, you can click on this bubble and you can get online help from the workers at Edulastic. Takes them about 5 to 10 minutes to get the conversation started, but you can have a full-blown conversation with anyone at Edulastic to get the help that you need. Let's say you change your mind, you can always click cancel. I'll give you guys a minute to look through that create new item. Just click on the many different options you have or the technology enhanced questions that you can use or create. Right, tidbits, yep. If you did the coordinate plane, students can graph points, students can reflect points over the X or Y axis, drag and drop. You can create a box diagram with let's say, with 6 ordered pairs and ask the students X axis, Y axis, and so forth. Or if you're talking about functions, you can make a table that has 5 functions and ask students, classify these as linear or nonlinear, check each box. It doesn't matter. Edulastic gives you the tools that you need to make your technology enhanced questions and to tailor it to what you need. And again, I really appreciate you guys being here. I know time is of the essence with this whole hybrid thing going on. Okay? But this is really a great tool. I love it. My students love it as well. Different answer choices, different options you have. Okay. Let's say you're done. Your next step is to settings. Class assessment, or you can make it a practice. You can choose to release scores or responses once the students are done, or you can choose not to. Evaluation method. You can say, hey, it's all or nothing. Either you get it all right or all wrong. You get partial credit. You can give partial credit, but don't penalize for incorrect selections. You can consider item level evaluation. And again, these advanced options are for the upgraded level. Once you have that, you're basically done. If I always preview the assessment that I create probably 3 or 4 times. So if you need to go back and preview it, you can. But once you're done, you can also print your assessment, share your assessment, save your assessment as a draft if you're not done. So let's say I'm done and I'm ready. I can click assign. And it says select a class to assign. These are all the classes that you imported from Google Classroom. Let's say I want to go to my first period. I can click an open date, a close date. Let's say I only want a select group or a certain student to take this test. You can click students. It lists all of the students in your class. You can click only that certain student. And also with Edulastic, there's an open and close policy. Even though you set the open date and close date, you can choose on this specific date, it's automatically open, or on this specific date, you'll open it manually, or on this specific date, it'll automatically close, or on this specific date, you will close it. And once you're done, you click assign, and that assessment is assigned to your students. I'll give you an example of what it looks like in Google Classroom. I'll give you an example of what it looks like. I assigned a couple of these of my students. My students love Edulastic. Keep you guys in this. Here we go. Chad Hampton posted a new assignment via Edulastic. It was called 115 Scale Factor Test. All students have to do is click on the assignment. That's from the teacher standpoint. Click on the link and it takes them directly into Edulastic. Again, Edulastic is a great online assessment tool where you can use in class. If students are at home, hybrid, full virtual, it doesn't matter. You have access to a lot of tech-enhanced assessment items. You can search the assessment pool, whatever you need. All right. So what I want you guys to do, so on our Google Classroom, I want you guys to take a screenshot of your assessment items. So when you're on your assignment, you can always click back on assignment, or you can click back on test, because the test you just created is under here on authored by me. And I want you to click preview. And I want you to take a screenshot of one of your questions and upload to our Google Classroom. That'll be your first assignment. And guys, as always, I'm available by email. Anything you need as you're walking by in the hallway, let me know. I know there was a quick tutorial on Edulastic, but again, I appreciate your time. Anything you guys need, just let me know, okay?